Kaiserimam started his career in journalism in Pakistan over 50 years ago. During this time, he was a column writer for many Urdu publications, including Imroz, Kohistan, and Nawai-Waqt. He worked with Daily Jang Rawalpindi for 16 years and was the editor Daily Jang International London for 21 years. You have been a leading Pakistani journalist for over a half a century and had many positions of responsibility. What this long journey has been like?
This journey is, I think, very pleasant for me when I see my back. I think it's very nice days I have spent in journalism, the best of life, and I think I enjoyed so much journalism. It is a regular journalism. Actually, I started in '63 when John F. Kennedy was shot. The same day I started as regular journalist in a newspaper, Jang Rawalpindi. And before that I was writing columns in various newspapers at Rawalpindi and Lahore. But regularly I joined Daily Jang in '63. So after that I worked in Daily Jang in various positions. First in archive section, then in with the column writing, and then with news writers, and then for sub-editors and senior sub-editors. Then I was a news editor of that Daily Jang. So I was transferred from Rawalpindi to London as a news writer and a newspaper editor of Daily Jang London International. And after about I think 17 years here in Jang London, I was retired from that organization, and then I joined OSAF, Daily OSAF I joined, and ARY Digital in news I joined that. So nowadays I'm working with the UK Times, that is a newspaper here from London, a weekly newspaper in Urdu and English. That is, I'm editor of that newspaper nowadays. So I think these are very, very pleasant days I have spent in journalism, because this line, this profession is just according to my needs, my style of working and my style of thinking. So I think this is the most pleasant job I can do, and I'm very happy about it.
In the early days when you started or when you thought of becoming a journalist, what sort of struggle you went through?
Yeah, actually I think it's a long struggle, about 10 years. I joined, after my matriculation, I joined MES as a draftsman, architectural draftsman, and it was 10 years. I think that job was not according to my thinking, according to my style of life, but I needed some job. So that was a struggle time, and those 10 years I spent there with trying to completing my education also. So after completion of my education, after my master degree in literature, I joined journalism regularly.
You said that when John F. Kennedy was murdered, that was the time when you started working. Could you recall your very first published article? When was it and what was it about?
As far as I remember now, in those days, I think after about 2-3 months, there was snow in Rawalpindi, and snow in Rawalpindi is very rare. Before that, we hadn't had that experience. And when it was snowing, I was asked that just write something about snow. So there was an article about snow. What is snow and how it works and how it comes out. So that was my one of my articles I can remember now.
What do you think of the social and political changes in Pakistan over the years as a journalist?
As a journalist, the main thing I came across was, in those days, Vietnam War, it was very much influential thing in our journalism. And the other thing was what was happening in Pakistan. Those were the days of martial law. Ayub Khan's martial law was there. And in those days, newspapers were suppressed very much. So the basic thing was the independence of journalism, which was very much suppressed in those days. And I think those are very cruel things in journalism.
And what do you think is the situation now? Is the journalism more sort of free? Journalists can write whatever they want to do?
Nowadays, in Pakistan, as far as I can see, journalism is now an industry. So there are journalists, they are very much free, but journalism not free. Journalism is an industry, and the big industrialists are the owners of all media, and the policy is just according to their needs, their business needs. So I don't think that journalism very much free in Pakistan. And I think not in Pakistan only, there is nowhere else that journalism could be free. Not in America even. Journalism not free. But only one thing I can say, that as far as technical things are concerned, journalism is much better, but not free. Free, it was never free.
And also I think because of the technology has improved so much, and there's so much material on internet, YouTube, social media, that sort of thing. Does that have impact on journalism?
Yes, sure. These things have so much influenced journalism, because as I have said, technically journalism is very much advanced now.
Now, going back on what was happening in Pakistan at that time, or till you were in Pakistan, can you remember any outstanding example where you really felt very pleased to report?
I think it was when Bhutto started the People's Party, then there was a thinking in public also and in media also that the days will change a bit. So in those days, all the media persons were feeling very good in those times. But it was a very brief time.
And what do you think of the situation in Pakistan as it is now?
Pakistan is now in very dark place now. It's a very bleak place now, because nobody is doing well. The politicians are not doing well, and everybody is just for their own interests, working for their own interests. Nobody is working for democracy. Is nowhere there. There is no political party in Pakistan which has that democracy within itself. But they are just crying for democracy, but not going to have democracy within their own parties. So I think if there is no democracy, there will be no good governance. And if there is no good governance, there will be no good future for Pakistan.
And coming back to Britain here, what is the consideration of public welfare in British political system?
I think as far as public welfare is concerned, When it was established, this country was established as a welfare state. This welfare is going back. I think it's not flourishing now.
Looking at the current affairs, especially what is happening in Gaza, and the public outcry about it, public protests, demonstrations, how do you see the governments, not only in this country but in other countries, responding to world crisis like as we see in Gaza?
All these so-called democratic countries have public itself, they are thinking altogether differently, and governments are thinking altogether totally differently. Every one of these governments are with Israel, and all the publics in all these countries, they are with the Palestinians. I think this is a very different thing. Even in Middle East, all the Emirat and all the kings, they are with America and Western countries, but all the public of those very countries, they are not with them. They are against them. Public is very much democratic in thinking. If you see all these revolts on streets, all these demonstrations in streets, they are very much organized. Why they are organized? They are organized because the public is thinking democratically.
Now, looking back, all the work which you have been doing, is there anything which you wanted to do within the area of journalism, but you were not able to do?
Yeah. I always wanted a newspaper which can give true picture of public needs and public thinking. I think that this kind of newspapers are needed, but they are none, especially for Pakistanis.